Good afternoon and welcome. This is Spotlight Africa. We're coming to you live from Rio, the capital city of Accra. But let's take a look at the stories. Ghana minister's ruling party official killed in army helicopter crash. Ethiopia appoints new envoy to Somalia as ties improve. United States demands $15,000 deposit for visa applicants from 2 African countries. The South Sudan Aid Agency suspends work over staff abductions. 30,000 South African jobs at risk from U.S. tariffs. We'll bring the stories to you in a moment. To begin Spotlight Africa this afternoon, it's rather on a sad note. There has been a crash of a military helicopter in Ghana, which took place yesterday, killing all 8 people aboard, including the West African country's defense and environment ministers and other top officials. The Ghanaian military said the helicopter took off in the morning from the capital Accra and was heading northwest into the interior toward the gold mining area of Aboase in the Ashanti region when it went off the radar. The wreckage was later found in the Adansi area of Ashanti. The cause of the crash was not immediately known, and the military said an investigation was underway. Defense Minister Edward Omane Boma and Environment Minister Ibrahim Matala Mohammed were killed alongside the vice chair of the National Democratic Congress ruling party, a top national security advisor, and crew members. Mourners gathered at the Burmese residence as well as the party's headquarters, and Ghana's government described the crash as a national tragedy. State media reported that the aircraft was a Z-9 helicopter that is often used for transport and medical evacuation. An online video of the crash site shows debris on fire in a forest as some citizens circle around to help. Meanwhile, Wednesday's crash was one of Ghana's worst air disasters in more than a decade. In May 2014, a service helicopter crashed off the coast, killing at least 3 people. In 2012, a cargo plane overran the runway in Accra and crashed into a bus full of passengers, killing at least 10 people. In a related development, Ghana has opened investigations into the crash of a military helicopter that killed all 8 people aboard, including the West African country's defense and environment ministers and top other officials. The country has also declared 3 days of national mourning from Thursday, and all flags are to fly at half-mast during the period. Defense Minister Edward Omane Bolma and Environment Minister Ibrahim Matala Mohammed were killed, as well as Samuel Sapong, Vice Chair of the National Democratic Congress ruling party, Minuru Mohammed, a top national security advisor, and the 4 crew members. Minuru Mohammed is expected to be buried on Thursday in line with Muslim tradition. Meanwhile, Ghanaian authorities have taken possession of a luxury car allegedly linked to proceeds of crime from popular musician Charles Ni Amar, better known as Shatta Whale, following a request from the United States. The 2019 Lamborghini Rose is allegedly tied to the criminal enterprise of Ghanaian Nana Kwabena Amoah, who is serving a 7-year jail term in the U.S. for fraud. Whale denies knowledge of connection with the jailed Ghanaian, saying he is a third-party owner of the car. Shatta Whale is one of Ghana's best-known stars and collaborated with Beyoncé on the song Already, which featured on her 2019 Lion King album. Whale took to social media to criticize the authorities over the recovery of the bright yellow Lamborghini, questioning why officers stormed his home with guns. Away from that, another new page in Ethiopia-Somalia ties has been opened as Suleiman Defedo presented his credentials to Somali President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud in a sign that relations between the two Horn of Africa neighbors continue to improve. Addis Ababa and Mogadishu had been embroiled in a bitter row prompted by Ethiopia's quest for sea access from Somaliland, a breakaway region of Somalia. The deal was rejected by Somalia, which considers Somaliland its sovereign territory. It accused Ethiopia of violating its territorial integrity. Tensions only eased after Turkey's mediation. In December 2024, the leaders of Ethiopia and Somalia signed the Ankara Declaration, a Turkish-brokered agreement that helped de-escalate tensions and laid the groundwork for renewed dialogue. The declaration also included a commitment to hold talks over Ethiopia's search for sea access. Recall that in April 2024, Somalia expelled Ethiopia's ambassador, declaring him persona non grata, and gave him 72 hours to leave the country. In a separate development, the U.S. will require citizens from Malawi and Zambia to pay a $15,000 deposit for a tourist or business visa, according to the U.S. State Department. The 12-month pilot program aims to curb visa overstays or where screening and vetting information is considered deficient. According to a notice published by the State Department, officials say that citizens of countries other than Malawi and Zambia may soon also need to pay a similar deposit, which will be returned at the end of their visit to the U.S. The U.S. administration has taken several steps to further President Donald Trump's agenda of stemming illegal migration. Recall that Trump signed an executive order on the first day of his second term to this effect. South Africa's Trade and Industry Minister has said that the 30% Reciprocal tariffs imposed by the United States could put tens of thousands of jobs at risk. Recall that last Thursday, U.S. President Donald Trump signed an executive order placing new tariff rates on dozens of countries hours before the 1st of August deadline he had set for deals to be made. While some countries received modified tariff rates, South Africa has remained at 30% previously proposed, putting it in the top 5 highest levies imposed by Trump on a nation. The U.S. is South Africa's third largest trading partner, with approximately 7.5% of total exports, with China second at 11% and the European Union the largest at 17%. South Africa's agricultural and automotive industries are expected to be among the hardest hit. The country is already grappling with stubbornly high unemployment rates. The official rate was 32.9% in the first quarter of 2025, according to Stats SA, the National Statistical Agency. Meanwhile, the South African government is in the process of drafting measures to support exporters hit by the new levy. Sudan has accused the United Arab Emirates of sending Colombian mercenaries to fight alongside the RSF. Stay tuned for details of this and more in a moment. Bringing you stories all around Africa. In Sudan, there has been an accusation that the United Arab Emirates has been sending Colombian mercenaries to fight alongside the paramilitary rapid support forces against the military in the country's civil war. The foreign ministry said in a statement that the Sudanese government has irrefutable evidence confirming mercenaries from Colombia and some neighboring African countries, sponsored and financed by Emirati authorities. The UAE's Foreign Affairs Ministry said the government categorically rejects the allegations and denied involvement in the war by backing armed groups. Recall that Sudan has long accused the UAE of being involved in the war by supplying the RSF with weapons, but the Gulf country has denied that claim. Meanwhile, medical charity MSF has said it was suspending work in the central equatorial region of South Sudan over attacks on its staff. The decision followed the kidnapping of the charity's staff member on Tuesday. Operations are specifically suspended in the countries of Ye River, Central Equatorial States. According to the organization, the incidents occurred during an evacuation of MSF staff from Morobo to Ye, prompted by deteriorating security conditions. Reports say an evacuation convoy was intercepted by gunmen who ordered the team leader out before pulling him into the thickets. The vehicles were allowed to proceed after the kidnapping. MSF head of mission in South Sudan called the abduction a targeted attack on humanitarian workers. It is the second time the charity is scaling back operations in Central Equatorial in 3 months. The charity said several incidents of violence targeting aid workers and healthcare facilities have been reported in Morobo, including forceful abductions, arson, violent looting of hospitals, and damage to medical infrastructure. Away from that, Nigeria's Environment Ministry has issued an urgent flood alert for 19 states, warning that intense rainfall forecast from the 5th of August through to the 9th could trigger widespread flooding across the country. The condition stemmed from a 3-day weather system flagged by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency (NIMET), which predicts thunderstorms and heavy rains from Monday through to Wednesday, particularly in northern states such as Adamawa, Taraba, Sokoto, Kebbi, Zamfara, Jigawa, Kano, and Katsina. NIMET has specifically warned of a high flood risk in Adamawa, Taraba, and Bauchi. In central regions, light morning showers are expected across Benue, Niger, Kogi, Nasarawa, and the Federal Capital Territory, with rainfall spreading to Plateau, Kwara, and surrounding areas later in the day. In the south, evening showers may bring flooding to Oyo, Ogun, Edo, and Delta states, while significant risks are flagged for Anambra, Bayelsa, Cross River, and Akwa Ibom. Authorities across the affected regions have been urged to activate local emergency response systems, deploy flood warnings, safeguard infrastructure, and advise the public to avoid travel during storms. NIMET also recommended practical precautions such as securing outdoor items, wearing appropriate clothing, and disconnecting electrical appliances during severe weather. This alert comes against the backdrop of recent devastating floods, including the May Mokwa disaster in Niger State, in which over 500 people died. Numerous homes and farms were destroyed, and thousands were displaced, highlighting the nation's vulnerability in rainy season. Meanwhile, Nigeria's Customs Agency says it has seized over 1,600 birds bound for Kuwait in what it described as the country's largest wildlife trafficking bust. Ring-necked parrots and green and yellow-fronted canaries were intercepted at the Lagos International Airport by Nigeria Customs Service (NCS) on the 31st of July, the agency said in a statement Tuesday. It is the largest seizure by number. NCS spokesperson Abdullahi Mereda told reporters in a country where wildlife trafficking is frequent, Nigeria's porous borders, widespread corruption, and weak enforcement have made it a key transit hub for ivory, pangolin scales, and other wildlife products. The NCS said it was able to intercept the birds through routine checks. The statement said the shipment did not have the required documentation and permits. Although the birds are common, they are required to have proper papers. An investigation is underway to find and prosecute those responsible for illicit cargo. It said, adding that the birds would be handed to the National Park Service for rehabilitation before being released into the wild. Lastly, today on Spotlight Africa, the relationships built up between female mountain gorillas are more important than previously understood, new research from Rwanda suggests. It shows that when one of these social-grade apes moves into a new group, she will seek out and join another female she already knows. Scientists based the research on 20 years of data covering multiple groups of gorillas in Volcanoes National Park in Rwanda. The scientists found that even when two females had been apart for many years, a newly arrived gorilla would still try to join a female she had formed a previous connection with. The findings, published in the Royal Society Journal Proceedings B, show how important the relationship between two individual females is in gorilla society. And that's all we have on Spotlight Africa, bringing you stories all around Africa. This has been put together by Spectrum Television. Do well to follow us on social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. Spotlight Africa. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. EIMM. Good afternoon.